Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is an overview of one of the short stories, Flowers for Algernon. So I am going to present a literary overview by myself. Let's talk about the author first before we start reviewing the story. The author Daniel Keyes, born in Brooklyn in 1927. He did his master's degree from Brooklyn College. He was a teacher in a high school, and also he worked as a university professor as well. Flowers for Algernon first published in 1966, and you might be surprised to hear that more than 5 million copies were sold for this book. He also worked as a merchant fiction editor, high school teacher, university professor, and he won Hugo and Nebula awards for his work. Based on the plot of the story, to me it is an advocacy book for the mentally disabled people. This is the first thing I want to highlight. It can be used as an advocacy book for the advocacy programs for the people who need help, need special care, need special attention. Because the obvious part of this book is a message to human beings. The message is we must respect life, respect one another, be kind to those who are less fortunate than ourselves. Being a teacher, the reading and perception of my students reflected the sensitivity I had hoped they would experience while reading the story. I have seen moving emotions of the students in my class. They were engaged with the character and the sensitivity of the character. In this short story, Keyes himself states, I did not want my reader to laugh at Charlie, maybe laugh with him, but not at him. This is so ironic. When people read, some of them, they laugh at the Charlie's character in the beginning, the mistakes he made, and the behavior he shows to the audience. Keyes is right. It is impossible to imagine a reader meant to laugh at Charlie Gordon. Flowers for Algernon engages the mind of the reader with the topic of mental disability. Being a teacher, I find students enjoyed the simplicity of the reading of the novel, where the mentally disabled are objects of good-natured compassion. The story is presented, however, leads to the conclusion that mental disability is embodiment of death in the novel. We have experienced that. Charlie Gordon, as he presented in this novel or in a short story, is a mentally disabled man who records his thoughts in progress reports as he undergoes an operation to improve his intelligence. He reached the cognitive ability of the greatest of geniuses, ironically surpassing the doctors. So this is very surprising. He surpasses some doctors' mental abilities and questioned them. The doctors who were involved in his surgery or operation. Initially, this increases his intelligence and it grants some sort of hope to Charlie. He reveals in his new cognitive abilities and his romantic relationship with Alice, his former adult education teacher. Ultimately, this gained intelligence also isolates him from Alice and all other people who were close to him in the past. Although he's aware of the experiments and fully aware of how doctor took advantage of him while disabled and how family and friends abandoned him. Charlie rebelled the idea that he is somehow a product of others, a magical creation, you can say. His only companion through this isolation is Algernon, the mouse who preceded him in the breakthrough operation. Algernon, however, loses his gained intelligence and dies, and Charlie's operation proves just as temporary, despite his best attempt to remain an intelligent man. Charlie eventually returns to his previous disabled state. The final progress reports Charlie Rice is from the same intellectual level as those he writes at the beginning of the novel. So we saw him returning to his old state, and this is so tragic for the reader. And we have seen, and I have observed, the reader of this short story moving along and feeling for Charlie Gordon. Even though Keyes recognizes that Charlie's regression, despite the fact that he merely returns to the original state, is a source of tragedy. This tragedy is read as pity at the beginning of the novel because Charlie's disability that causes him to be powerless and unaware. By the end of the novel, however, disability causes the book's clear protagonist, the intelligent Charlie, that no longer exists. All that which makes the post-operative Charlie a distinct character, purpose, love, imagination, all fades away. Therefore, it is as though the intelligent Charlie is dying.